Hi everybody, my name is Kim and welcome back to my channel, Bookmarks and Breadsticks. If you notice me looking and darting my eyes off camera, my two cats have decided that this is the perfect time to have a war. We'll see how... I'm so easily distracted. I can see them circling each other and their tails are going flip, 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 which means they're going to attack. What I'm trying to do is bring you a book review for a book I have read in the month of November called The Fish That Ate the Whale, The Life and Times of America's Banana King by Rich Cohen. First off, I'm obsessed with a green book. I have very few of them, and the spine is mostly yellow. So I really want to say kudos for this book. I also don't know what these covers are made of, but it's like better than a mass market paperback, but it's still a paperback. So anyway, 10 out of 10, I just really enjoyed the look and feel of this book. So this is the fascinating untold tale of Samuel Zemurray, the self-made banana mogul who went from penniless roadside banana peddler to kingmaker and capitalist revolutionary. So the book comes in at about 250 pages and it reads like he is one of the most interesting men in the world. I would love a movie about this guy. I would love maybe a mini series about this guy because his life is fascinating. He is a Ashkenazi, I hope I said that right, Ashkenazi Jew who comes over from Russia to America. At first can't get any jobs and eventually heads south and just notices the banana trade at a fundamental flaw that you see it in grocery stores. Unless it's a beautiful yellow banana, nobody wants a spotted banana or an overly ripe banana. And he starts as a penniless guy who works the docks and the wharfs selling these ripes or freckled bananas. And you learn so much about this trade, the important roles of Guatemala, the Honduran peasants, It's amazing. It's a whole part of Central and South America that I know very little about from a historical perspective other than like the Panama Canal, which seems very like, let's just gloss over an entire country and just talk about the Panama Canal. So I'll just read a little bit more on the back for you guys. When Samuel Zemurray arrived in America in 1891, he was tall, gangly, and penniless. When he died in the grandest house in New Orleans 69 years later, he was among the richest, most powerful men in the world, working his way up from a roadside fruit peddler to conquering the United Fruit Company, which later became Chiquita Banana and then went bankrupt. Zemurray became a symbol of the best and worst of the United States, proof that America is the land of opportunity, but also the classic example of a corporate pirate who treats foreign nations as the backdrop for his adventures. I could see casting like a young Hollywood 20-something kind of guy and watching him grow up. It would be a lot of fun. I highly, highly recommend this book. It's probably one of the most interesting I've read this year, probably because it read almost like a mystery novel. He's like slightly a little bit like a mobster and a gangster because eventually, oh, I can't get what I want, I will pay you. He pays for mercenaries, he causes political uprisings, all for the sake of bananas. And I also learned a lot about bananas in general. Here are some fun facts about bananas. 1, a banana is classified as a berry. 2, the banana plant is a fern. It grows out of the ground in a tight spiral of its leaves and then extends out. The bushels of bananas you see at the grocery store all grow together in something called a stem of bananas. And that's the kind where the bananas are busheled together so big that the men would carry them on their shoulders down at the pier and put them on boats. So those are 3 facts about bananas. What else did I learn about bananas? Bananas are genetic duplicates. So a banana doesn't have a season. It doesn't grow from a seed. Even though the bottom tip of a banana usually has that black seed, that seed is useless to the growth of a banana. Essentially, a banana grows, you just break off a piece of that banana fern and just stick it in the ground next to it. So all bananas are genetically the same, which is why this earlier banana in the book, which name is completely escapes me. It's like called like the Big Finger or something. It's a really weird name and I will put the actual name right here. Eventually this banana is going to go extinct in the book because different infections and funguses come in and they can wipe out entire banana plantations because they are all genetically the same bananas. And Zemurray will do whatever it takes for his banana company to be successful. There are chapters where he talks about, oh, the government won't let me build a bridge from one country to the other because of the way the farming and the land was. I'm going to build a temporary bridge that my men can take down in 3 hours. So when the government goes, hey, he built a bridge, he's like, I don't see no bridge. He invests in trains, laying down roads, train tracks, infrastructure. It's amazing how much he gets done in his life for a man who, you know, from the times, is an immigrant, is not welcome. The Jewish clubs didn't let Zemurray in because he was just different, because he was from Russia. All of these different things. There's a lot of unfortunate writing and phrasing from the historical documents that will, just as a reference point, we'll call like the blacks, the whites. Preface, it's there, but even the author's like, ooh, I'm sorry I have to like quote things this way, cringy. It's one of the evils of the time, but racism is a big part of this. Zemurray always being a foreigner is a big part of this. And all of this political intrigue on all for the sake of like growing a fucking banana plantation. Eventually Zemurray thinks about things like diversification of his crops. He goes, there's a fungus that's currently destroying bananas and it might come for me next. I'm gonna start planting sugarcane. I'm gonna start planting other fruits and vegetables so that things that are always in demand, like sugarcane, can keep the company going. When the world wars happen and the government takes his ships because they need the ships to go fight, he goes, okay, what am I gonna do? When bananas get taxed as a luxury item, he goes, fine, I'll sell more sugarcane. The guy always looks at the world like a problem that needs to be solved. And it's very fascinating how much he's willing to pivot. I also really appreciated him as a human, that he worked his way up the corporate chain like the American dream. And Zemurray was not the kind of CEO who sat in Boston. He would spend half of his year down in various locations. It changes throughout the book, but he'll be down in Panama, he'll be down in along the coast, and he will walk the walk, talk the talk. He will sit at the dock and have his coffee in the morning and listen to the banana trade, listen to the people who are on the ground, because he used to be them. It's a really fun book, and I know I'm a little all over the place with my review of it, but it was just, there's so much in my brain. There was so much to absorb, and it was a lot of fun. It's broken up into a couple different stages, which I think you'll figure out really quickly why they're named with there. It goes green, yellow, ripe, brown. It's like the stages of a banana. He also, the reason the book is called The Fish That Ate the Whale is that when Zemurray started his banana business, he was the fish. He was the small fry against United Fruit. And he had maybe 15% share of the market. The government, United Fruit actually used him to go, see, we don't have a monopoly, here's a competitor. And eventually the way the climate changes in politics, he actually is forced to sell his shares to United Fruit, and they merge together. And they let the wolf into the house is pretty much the phrase the author gives it, Rich Cohen gives. And then years later, when United Fruits is starting to struggle, their shares are down to $10 when Zemurray got them at $100. He essentially goes to the other board members and convinces them, which might have been pressured, might have been threatened, to get their shares. And eventually he like stages a coup. He has enough shares to become the owner of United Fruit, the fish that ate the whale. And that's not like the biggest spoiler in the book. It's still like only 2/3 of the way through the book, but this guy is just so cool. But it's weird because his history, some people think he's great. Some people think he used his money like a corporate pirate and a bully and overthrew government just to get what he wants. So you can really walk away with the book seeing why some people think he's a hero and some people think he's a villain. But all in all, it's definitely one of my favorite books of the year, which I know is a lot. I call a lot of books some of my favorite books of the year, but when you've read 85 plus books, I feel like if it's in the top 20, it's a pretty good book. I really recommend it. It's 250 pages. I read it in about 2 days. It's fun. It will definitely make you appreciate the banana in a whole new way. I really hope you give it a read. Rich Cohen has another book, and he's the author of Sweet and Low, A Family Story. So now I'm really excited to go buy another book by Cohen. I really like the way he writes for a nonfiction book with a lot of politics in it. I found it really read well like a story. When it gets really political, it does get a little dry, and I'm like, I need a Venn diagram. I don't know who's a good mercenary, who's a bad mercenary, etc. But all in all, super fun book. So, did I completely rock your world now that you know that a banana is a berry? Let me know in the comments below. Would you read a book about the Banana King? It's a pretty great title. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the comments and leave a comment below. And we're still selling our bread box for Read It and Eat. And we will be launching the spring box, which is lemons, very soon. You can pre-order on the website, but hope you guys give it a look. Thanks so much. See you in the next video.